U.S. foreign policy continues its assault on Latin American countries. Several official representatives we have spoken with over the last year, including presidents and Congress members across the region, have accused the U.S. not only of orchestrating coups, but also of engaging in lawfare in multiple countries. This time, former Bolivian President Evo Morales has directly accused the DEA of attempting to kill him. Morales, who ruled Bolivia for 14 years, was ousted during the 2019 coup that blocked him from assuming a fourth presidential term, steering Bolivia back under U.S. influence. After the coup, Morales went into exile. However, his political party, the Movement Towards Socialism, MS, regained power when his former finance minister, Luis Arce, won the presidency in October 2020. Relations between Morales and Arce have since soured. Arce appears to be using state mechanisms to marginalize Morales' faction within MS. Tensions escalated further on October 27, 2024, in the department of Cochabamba. A paramilitary force opened fire on Morales while he was traveling to a local radio station for an interview. The Bolivian state claimed it was executing an order to capture Morales on charges of human trafficking and rape. But video footage from one of Morales' aides seemed to contradict the official narrative, because they seemed to be trying to kill him. The attack unfolded over several minutes. Gunfire targeted the truck carrying Morales, forcing him to switch vehicles due to severe damage. Morales' camp alleges sniper fire struck the door right next to where he was sitting. As his convoy fled, a white truck pursued them, continuing to fire. The pursuit injured the driver. But Morales ultimately reached the radio station where he addressed the public.
Muy buenos días, oyentes amigos en el país entero. Estos son helicópteros.
Mira, sospechosamente, queremos denunciar, está rondando el helicóptero por acá.
In the aftermath, local residents rallied in support of Morales, surrounding a military barracks where the vehicles involved in the attack were reportedly stationed. Videos captured by the crowd suggest possible state complicity or involvement by the Bolivian army. Footage even shows the alleged paramilitary force boarding a helicopter, with some members appearing to be non-local, leading Morales supporters to suspect they were American operatives. This evidence is central to a documentary Morales premiered during a virtual press conference on Monday, November 18th. The following day, the former president graciously agreed to speak with us.
Yesterday, in a press conference, you announced that it was the DEA, the police, and the army who was behind the assassination attempt against your life. Can you tell us more about it?
A ver, después del golpe de Estado de 2019, la DEA...
After the coup d'etat in 2019, the DEA and USAID have returned to Bolivia. Before Arce's election, with Minister Murillo under Janine Áñez after the 2019 coup. And when the U.S. agencies returned, about a year after the coup, those United States agencies never left and stayed here. Well, and the DEA is operating publicly in Bolivia. It is no longer a secret. I have papers at hand which show how some members of the National Bolivian Police were arrested in Colombia, and the Bolivian Minister of Government said that they were going to consult with the DEA for a report on how to resolve the case. That is governing with the DEA. When a minister says he is going to consult with a foreign agency, that is clear proof of their involvement. Secondly, there is official information indicating coordination with the DEA. In the operation shown in the video, we see a helicopter, and it's clear that paramilitaries boarded it. That same helicopter was intended to take me away. When their plan failed, they fled due to the reaction of the peasant movement against those who opened fire. In the video, those who carried out the attack appear to be foreigners, judging by their attire, shorts, tennis shoes, and backpacks as they boarded the helicopter. When the armed forces were questioned, they refused to provide any clear information. Their response was, "I don't know," neither confirming nor denying involvement. If they were certain of their innocence, they would simply say, "No, it didn't happen." Sooner or later, the truth will come out. Their silence is the best evidence of a tacit admission. I repeat, if there was nothing, they could have denied it outright. But instead, they refused to release footage from surveillance cameras. The commander stated that the videos would only be released upon orders from higher authorities. Naturally, as soldiers, they won't act without orders. If the presidency gave the command, the situation would be different. Those surveillance tapes must come to light. One thing, here it is, Colonel Rojas. He has been arrested. Let me show you. You can see it here. Because he will ask the DEA for a report on the Bolivian Pablo Escobar. I have several newspaper cuts like this. Look, here it says Minister Montaño. Could it be that Santa Cruz is worse than Venezuela and Cuba? He is a leftist president. How can he say that Santa Cruz is worse than Cuba and Venezuela? Page 7 of this newspaper. So, it is clear proof that the government is with the right. Well, it is all there. There are so many newspaper clippings. Lithium is vital to U.S. national security due to its critical role in military and industrial applications. It powers advanced technologies like drones, weapon systems, and energy storage, supporting both defense operations and renewable energy goals. With limited domestic production, securing reliable lithium supplies is essential for maintaining technological superiority and safeguarding infrastructure from geopolitical risks.
After the 2019 coup in Bolivia, and replying to a tweet that was referring to it, Elon Musk said famously, "We'll coup whoever we want." And now we have this assassination attempt that you say is motivated in part by lithium. What are your thoughts on all of this?
Sí, el golpe fundamentalmente ha sido litio.
Yes, the coup was fundamentally about lithium, as I mentioned yesterday in the press conference. We had a plan through the Ministry of Energy to prioritize lithium investment, with 41 plants, mostly in Potosí, Oruro, and other departments. Over half of these were dedicated to lithium production, including lithium hydroxide, lithium carbonate, and lithium batteries, along with byproducts and inputs. It was set up as a public-private partnership, PPP alliance. Imagine, this industry wouldn't just rely on imports of inputs and byproducts. Instead, we would produce things like potassium chloride for fertilizers and medicines domestically. In fact, we're already exporting some. During my previous term, we established a small processing plant with a capacity of 350,000 tons per year, operating at only 30% capacity. The government is not taking advantage of that facility for Brazil's market. Ever since my administration nationalized hydrocarbons in 2006, transnationals were excluded from the extractive processes. They could only participate in the industrial phases. Natural resources like lithium and hydrocarbons belong to the Bolivian people and are managed by the state. When we began adding value to lithium, the coup d'etat occurred, driven by those wanting control over our lithium. And you know what Elon Musk said? We'll carry out a coup wherever we want. That's his mindset, even as people resist. It's been claimed that he financed the coup with support from Donald Trump. It's unbelievable to hear President Luis Arce, now congratulating Trump. Even if it's for protocol, how can he align with those behind the coup? During the self-coup of 2024, there were even tweets from the U.S. Chargé d'Affaires defending Lucho. When has the U.S. ever supported a left-wing leader? Never. Lucho is not left-wing. Even the coup-plotting OAS, Organization of American States, which supported the 2019 coup, defended Luis Arce in the 2024 coup. This is a class struggle, an ideological and principled fight. Unfortunately, Luis Arce has had a hand in this. He halted the lithium project under the pretense of focusing on direct lithium extraction. In 4 years, he achieved nothing and now blames me? When? How? He was part of my government. Everything is paralyzed under his administration. The real goal is to destroy the MAS, Movement for Socialism, and disable Evo Morales, while allowing the U.S. to regain control over Bolivia's lithium. Their actions align with the U.S. national security doctrine, which seeks to dominate our natural resources under the guise of national security. When I nationalized hydrocarbons, which are a key energy resource, I directly challenged the U.S. national security doctrine. These are the programmatic and ideological differences between the United States, Luis Arce, and me.
Son nuestras diferencias programáticas, ideológicas con Estados Unidos y con Lucho.
In a controversial move, Bolivia's Supreme Electoral Tribunal recognized Glover Garcia's, Arce's candidate, as the party's leader, ignoring a popular assembly that had nominated Morales not only to lead the party, but to run for a fourth presidential term. Morales has accused Arce of orchestrating the constitutional ruling that bars re-election for more than 2 terms, effectively disqualifying Morales.
Yesterday at your conference, you showed documents and talked about lawfare. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
2021, el gobierno hizo el plan negro.
So in 2021, the government made the Black Plan. In January 2002, the communications team of the Ministry of Government gave me a copy. The plan is to destroy Evo politically, Armando Rodriguez, Loza, the deputy, an enlightened one, a young deputy called Alberto Arispe. Initially, I didn't believe it, but time went by, and in 2022, in July 2022, I said now, and in a meeting with Lucho Arce, I said to him, Lucho, what is this? A black plan to destroy Evo? The Minister of the Presidency was there, the Vice President. There were leaders of the Peace Party of Unity. There was also the President of the Chambers and the head of the caucus who was also at that meeting, where I showed his plan 25 to 30, Lucho President. At a previous national meeting, we had agreed that the candidates would be defined on the year right before the elections. And in any case, Arce is within his rights to run for re-election even by himself if he wants to. But on a sheet of that plan, Lucho 25 to 30, it said, Evo on the left, Camacho and Mesa on the right, and in the middle is him, Luis Arce. This is the document. I have it in my hand. It is the rightward shift, I told everyone at the meeting. He got scared. He said, I will investigate. And up to now, he has not told me anything. It has already begun. That fight, the war of the media. But when they started saying on social networks, Evo, king of cocaine, I started defending myself. Time is passing. There are also plans to finish off the mass in Lucho Arce in 2021 to 2022. He did not accept that the MS-IPSP colors would be shown at official events. President Luis Arce was with the Socialist Party. He no longer believed in the MS. But at the end of 2022, in a survey, it became evident. Without the MS, how much percent would President Luis Arce get? Barely 6% in 2020, Arce won, saying, we are from the MAS. We are from the MS. And now in the survey that I showed yesterday, how much percent does Arce have? 2.2%. His positive image is worse than that of former President Yanin Áñez. A week ago, President Arce had 4%. So the issue is, I repeat, ideological, with the government of Lucho Arce. Plus, so yes, this is persecution, and the U.S. government is involved. At this moment, the indigenous movement and its worldview, rooted in history and heritage, are inherently anti-colonial. You know this well. During colonial times, we were threatened with extermination. In the Republican era, we were the most hated. Today, us Indigenous, we represent the only true left-wing party. Our movement came to power, fundamentally transforming the Republic. At this political moment, being at the forefront of the indigenous movement for 14 years is a historic record. Since 1825, no president has governed for 14 years. Winning over the people is no small feat. It requires tangible results in economic, social, political, and cultural spheres. That's where the support and votes come from. It was as a collective movement that we achieved such enduring power. What did the United States say during the coup? MAS is not returning to government, and Evo Morales is not returning to Bolivia. Lucho Arce ran for president. I suggested his candidacy, but I did not impose it. There were 4 candidates, Lucho, David, Diego Pari, and Rodriguez. In exile in Argentina, we voted, and Lucho Arce won. When MAS returned to power and I, Evo Morales, returned alive to Bolivia, it was thanks to the Bolivian people's vote. What did the empire say to the coup plotters after the coup? That MAS had to be banned. From Argentina, I spoke with some members of the Supreme Electoral Tribunal, and they told me there were internal and external pressures to eliminate mass IPSP. Now, President Lucho Arce is doing exactly that, finishing off mass IPSP. The United States doesn't want Evo Morales to return, yet here I am. And now Lucho wants to do more. Here's some critical information for you. It's not just about trying to kill Evo. If they catch me, they want to extradite me to the United States. Minister Cesar Siles and Minister of Government Eduardo Castillo are involved in this plan. A month and a half ago, during a meeting with the Plurinational Constitutional Court, what did Lucho Arce say? We have a common enemy. His name is Evo Morales. Arce went on to say, Evo Morales, detained in Bolivia? No, he's dangerous. It's better to send him abroad. The magistrates informed me of this.
When Rafael Correa took power back in the days in Ecuador, I was able to see you and other presidents in Latin America take a stand and declare a project for South-South development. As I understand, all South America and some African countries were intended in creating South-South institutions like the Bank of the South and others like UNASUR, and even some with the participation of African actors. Well, if we see what happened with all the presidents that were involved in that project, each and every one or most of them had several different kind of attacks on them. For example, coup d'etat, lawfare in other cases. What do you think about that project and the attacks that followed?
Era otra cosa con Lula, con Chávez, con Kirchner, Néstor.
That era was something else. With Lula, Chavez, Nestor Kirchner, Correa. The first blow for me started with Fernando Lugo, then Dilma Rousseff, and Cristina. What happened to Correa was devastating. In 2021, I read an article predicting that Lucho Arce would become the new Lenin Moreno. I didn't believe it at the time, and even defended Lucho. But as time has passed, it seems worse than Lenin Moreno. Fascism has returned here under Lucho Arce. For me, fascism involves using violent civilian groups to intimidate, attack, and oppress humble people, all with the backing of the police. Neoliberal governments never did that. Now it's no longer the military targeting public and political life, it's judges and prosecutors. That's where we are now. For me, this is the new Plan Condor disguised under the banner of justice. Here in Bolivia, we have what I call legal thugs operating through the judicial system. Lucho Arce and David Choquehuanca no longer rely on the assembly. Instead, they use two self-extended magistrates. All their rulings, sentences, and resolutions are null and void because no article of the Constitution allows for extensions or self-extensions of judicial terms. The Constitution is clear. No authority or state body can issue a resolution that benefits itself. Yet these magistrates extended their terms to remain in power. If constitutional rules were followed, I would still qualify as president of Mayas PSP, constitutionally, legally, and legitimately. Now the government uses these self-extended judges to strip the assembly of its powers, governing through court rulings and injunctions. For me, this is the second Plan Condor. Leftists, humanists, progressives, and anti-imperialists are now at the mercy of judges and prosecutors.
Izquierdistas, humanistas, progresistas o antiimperialistas en manos de jueces y fiscales.
In indigenous worldview, Mother Nature or Pachamama is central, is the entity that gives us life and holds our lives. Yet our industrial civilization seems to be so successful that it's destroying the source of life. What is your perspective of all of this now that we have snow in Saudi Arabia, we have the poles melting, the Amazon River is dry, the jungle is being cut, there's pollution everywhere. What do you think? Where are our perspectives?
Hoy día hay reunión de G20 en Brasil.
Today, as the G20 meets in Brazil, it would be worthwhile for the G20 to conduct a deep evaluation, a profound reflection on life and social justice. The only way to guarantee social peace is through a degree of equality, identity, and wealth redistribution. Programs must emerge to defend democratic life, but also, and fundamentally, to care for Mother Earth. I am convinced that Mother Earth can exist without humankind, perhaps even better without us. But humanity cannot exist without Mother Earth. That's why I propose to the United Nations the need to debate the rights of Mother Earth. For me, the rights of Mother Earth are more important than the rights of humanity. If we do not respect her right to regenerate, if we fail to care for her, humanity's survival is not guaranteed, not just for men or women, but for all life. This is a tremendous responsibility, and collectively, we have not assumed it. Additionally, this ties to the issue of exploitation. We cannot accept an extractivist policy. If extraction must occur, it must respect Mother Earth. We have a policy for Mother Earth that, I repeat, is fundamentally based on respecting her rights. The indigenous worldview is one of complementarity with nature, deeply rooted in history. In native communities, there is no private property. The land is communal. We rotate, care for it, and rehabilitate it. Mechanization is acceptable, but it must align with our way of life. Complementarity with Mother Earth, collectivity, and harmony with humanity.
I think I speak for everybody when I say that it frightens me the possibility of nuclear Armageddon and the extinction of human race, something that seems fairly on the table right now. And this makes me think, unite, we're stronger. So you think there's the possibility of another South American, Latin American unity of nations, or somehow any kind of unity that will allow us to raise our voice and in this dangerous world we live as a union? Do you think it's possible?
A ver, hay que identificar como seres humanos los proyectos, los planes del imperio norteamericano.
Let's see. As human beings, we need to identify and confront the projects and plans of the North American Empire. We must challenge the Monroe Doctrine of 1823 and the Manifest Destiny ideology of 1845. The Monroe Doctrine claims that America is for the Americans, meaning that Latin American countries are considered U.S. colonies. But they are losing ground. To me, the United States is no longer an economic power, though it remains a military one. NATO, however, has essentially become the U.S. Department of Defense. I don't understand what the Europeans are doing, aligning themselves with this. Manifest destiny, the belief that the U.S. is blessed by God and destined to rule the world and its natural resources, is equally incomprehensible. It has fueled militarization across the globe. More recently, the U.S. national security doctrine has faced serious challenges. I place a lot of confidence in BRICS and the emergence of a new world order, a multipolar world. This gives me hope. I sense a rebellion is underway, but it needs to accelerate. Change isn't possible without the support of the people. Only when leaders stand alongside their people can policies for the people be guaranteed, not policies for the empire. Unipolarity does not ensure life, not for today, not for future generations, and certainly not for Mother Earth.
Menos garantiza la vida de las futuras generaciones, menos garantiza la vida de la Madre Tierra.